It was 1 month ago when I did this Reddit. She was trying to figure out if she was the a-hole, but for choosing her daughter over her boyfriend's word. There has been an update. So this was the original thread. She was talking about making this chicken gnocchi soup, and the boyfriend really, really wanted her to eat from a specific bowl of soup. And she didn't get to it right away, and she walked away. Her and her daughter were doing something, and then the cat started eating on the soup. And then the man started overreacting. The cat, he was watching the cat. He was asking why would she give the cat this soup. So this is what happened. This was the start of it. She has done a couple of updates since then. If you need to see the whole story, you can find the whole story. If you're on my YouTube page, I'll attach the whole link in the description. So here is one of the first updates. She says, I thought we were safe. A lot of people wanted an update, so here it is. On Christmas, he slashed my tires, knowing I would have to pay out of pocket to replace them, which I don't have. Today, he threw a heavy patio chair through the window of the place we were staying at to let me know he knew where we were, and I was asked to leave for everyone's safety, except my daughter and I aren't safe. I walked in the sleet and snow with my daughter and our cat, and I felt vulnerable and like prey, like open prey. So we came back to the police station to sit in the lobby until morning. Shelters are still full, and now I have to disclose that he is dangerous anywhere we go. Police couldn't find him, but I know he has to be close. I don't know what his end game is. So this was one of the first updates. There's been another one. She posted this yesterday. She says, I found the AirTag in the cat carrier. Please read my other posts for more context, but too long don't read. I'm pretty sure my ex is trying to unalive me. There were a few instances that I wrote off as accidents until I think he poisoned my soup that was specifically for me. On Christmas, he found where we were staying and slashed my tires and threw a heavy patio chair and planter through a window. He still hasn't been caught. I checked everywhere I could think of and still couldn't figure out how he was tracking us. I blocked him on everything, including email, after he sent me pics of his target practice sheets, among other things. I got a cheap burner phone. My daughter was out of school for winter break, so he didn't follow her or anything. I checked my car for a tracker, still nothing. I do not have an iPhone, so I couldn't check whatever app an AirTag is attached to. My my cat is harness trained and wears a collar, so there was no tracker. Until today, I decided to only way I can describe it, fill up the carrier. I ran my fingers over every inch of it and felt a bump on the bottom soft side. There was no new stitching or obvious cut. He had to use a seam ripper along the stitching. It was undetectable and I almost missed it. He had to have had help because I've never seen him sew anything. Probably the same person who is letting him hide now. If his excuse for the AirTag was to track my cat, he would have put it in his collar or harness because that is what he would wear when we go on walks or car rides. My cat would never go in his carrier unless I was planning on leaving for more than a few days. I have no idea how long it has been there, nor do I know how far the tracker works, but now we aren't safe where we are again. I feel disgusting and I feel like hunted prey. This is so unnerving and I'm so uncomfortable. Who the F was I living with? So this person says, I'm so worried about you. Please don't let your guard down. Make sure your daughter's school knows he's a threat. This person says he had help sewing their tracker into the cat carrier. Time to check every piece of clothing, every jacket lining, every plush toy, every stitch of everything you own, and utilize the digital tools the other commenters have mentioned to ping any nearby trackers. The car has so many places to conceal a tracker: behind interior panels, in the headliner, under the center console, taped to the underside of the bumper. That cat carrier may not be the only one. And I'm making this apparent because you never know how people are tracking you. This needs to be discussed because you never know. In this day and age where these unalivers and self-deleters are a thing, this has to be talked about. This person says, someone I know had an AirTag found inside the vents of her car. She checked her car several times over a period of months and didn't find it until she took it to a mechanic. They took apart the air vents with tools. If you suspect you're being followed by a tracker, take your car to a mechanic and tell them to pull it apart because it's likely you'll miss it yourself. People were giving links that would discuss like how to find AirTags if you have an Android. You can look this up, how to use AirTags with Android. So there are things in the Android playlist that can be downloaded. Here's an app in the Play Store, AirGuard AirTag Protection. So look this up if you suspect that you need to find AirTags. OP's ex is a threat. Tell the police about the tracker, please. Don't give it to them just yet. Perhaps it could escalate if your ex sees it at the police station and finds out you found it. Um, this person says the police have literally told OP to stop wasting their time with petty civil matters. They're useless in this situation. No, worse than useless. They saw all the stuff that the ex destroyed, heard all the evidence, and was still trying to unalive her and blamed it on her. They're protecting the ex. I literally have no idea what this woman should do, but I just wanted you guys to know that there are options. If you have Android and suspect that you need to find an AirTag like this woman found, because if he just keeps popping up, there has to be a reason or a way that he is finding her. So I just want to share with you guys that there is an update to this one. There's a passage that I want to bring to you from Why Does He Do That by Lundy. I want to pull this out because people break up all the time, and not everybody is in an abusive relationship, but sometimes some of these things happen. So this is breaking up with an abusive man, but like I said, don't listen too heavily for the word abusive. It could just listen. Okay, breaking up with, let's just say breaking up with a person. Breaking up with a person can be very hard to do. In fact, leaving a non-abusive partner in general is generally easier, contrary to what many people believe. Few abusers readily allow themselves to be left. When they feel a partner is starting to get stronger, beginning to think for herself more, slipping out from under domination, abusers move to their end game. Some of their more common maneuvers include promising to change, entering therapy or an abuser program, not drinking or attending AA, making apologies, telling you that you will be lost without him, telling you that no one else will want to be with you, threatening to self delete, saying that you are abandoning him, making you feel guilty, threatening to kidnap or take custody of the kids, threatening to leave you homeless or with no financial resources, turning very nice, getting other people to pressure you into giving him another chance. The church, does that just not bring the church to your mind? Taking care of things that you have been complaining about for a long time, finally fixing a hazardous situation in the house, getting a job, agreeing that you can go out with your friends. So all of a sudden becoming agreeable, behaving in self destructive ways so that you will worry or feel sorry for him, not eating, drinking heavily, skipping work, never talking to his friends, spreading rumors about you, trying to ruin your friendships or reputation. We've heard of this. Starting a new relationship or an affair to make you jealous or angry. A lot of these things happen even when it is not abusive. Insisting that he has already changed. Like, I have been doing the work. I have been doing the work. You're just not paying attention. Spreading confidential information about you to humiliate you. Threatening or assaulting anyone you start to try a new relationship with or anyone who is helping you. Getting you pregnant. Just as soon as they sense that you're about to leave, they try stealthing or some other coercive action. Stalking you, physically or sexually assaulting you, trashing your house or car, threatening to harm or unalive you. Each abuser uses a different mix of the above tactics, and some let go somewhat more easily than others. Strategy of control that appear contradictory may go hand in hand. For example, he may insist adamantly one day, "You should be able to tell I've changed," and then call the next night to say, "If you don't give this relationship another chance, you're going to find out what I'm really capable of." One day on the phone, he may tell you his love for you will never die, but when his poetic language doesn't succeed in persuading you to meet him for a drink, he will abruptly switch to yelling, "I don't give an I don't give a about you anyhow. So just let your life continue down the stinking hole it's in." He doesn't care that these pieces don't fit together because he is intently focused on a single desire to get you back under his control. He knows he used to be able to control you with charm, affection, and promises. He also remembers how well intimidation or aggression worked at other times. Now, both of these tools are losing their effectiveness. So he tries to increase the voltages. He may switch erratically back and forth between the two, like a doctor who cycles a patient through a range of antibiotics, trying to find the one that will get the infection under control. And the analogy is an apt one because an abuser sees his ex partner's growing strength and independence as a sickness rather than the harbinger of health that it actually is. Promises that an abuser makes during this period can be persuasive, especially if they are combined with sincere sounding apologies, or if he takes some concrete initiative, such as quitting drinking, locating a therapist, or joining an abuser program. However, once he succeeds in getting you to reunite with him, he gradually plows his way back into the usual ruts, dropping counseling because he can't afford it, saying he will go back to a little drinking because he can handle it, and so forth. Before long, daily life has returned to its former contours. My clients make flip flopping statements during breakups about who is responsible for the dissolution of the relationship, bouncing between blaming everything on themselves and casting all fault onto the woman. Making it her fault is closer to their real thinking. The blaming of themselves is largely a way to win sympathy from other people, including abuse counselors who can get drawn in by a theatrical show of pain guilt. And in an ironic twist, the more he says that the separation is his own fault, the more friends and relatives are tempted to pressure the woman to believe that he will change. When one of my clients takes this mea culpa stance, I asked him to describe in detail how exactly his behavior drove his partner away. 8 times out of 10, the man can only give me 2 or 3 examples or none. In other words, he really doesn't believe that he is abusive, and my request for extensive specifics smokes him out. If he does manage to list a few things he did wrong, they are often far afield from the core of his destructiveness, as in comments like, "I should have made her a higher priority. We didn't do things together enough." Or they are actually backhanded remarks to get more digs in against her, such as, I used to walk away from her because of the insane rages she goes into, but I should have realized that my leaving just made her feel worse." The volatile, abusive, sometimes dangerous reactions that abusers can have when relationships draw to a close have often been considered, especially by psychologists, to be evidence of a man's fear of abandonment. But women have fears of abandonment um, that are just as great as men's, yet they rarely stalk or unalive their partners after a breakup. Not only that, many abusers are vicious to their ex partners, even when they do not desire a reunion or when they initiated the breakup themselves. The clue to how an abuser handles separation lies in the same thinking that has been causing his controlling and abusive behavior throughout the relationship and has driven his partner away from him. It's control and entitlement that makes these people believe that they can discard their object when they want to. When this object suddenly gets the nerve to walk away or to have some independence or to think for themselves, that's when the abuser or the person that you're walking away from gets upset. Like, how dare this object that is mine to control start thinking for themselves? When trying to leave, you need to have a plan in place. A safety plan while you are living with an abusive partner can include the following elements, among others: plan different escape routes from your house in case your partner becomes violent, and plan where you would go if you needed to stay away overnight. Hide spare keys and important documents in places where they are safe, where you could grab them and leave quickly. Try to get out of dangerous places during arguments, such as leaving the kitchen where there are knives or other sharp objects the abuser could use. Obtain a private post office box or some other address you can use to receive confidential mail. Set code words with friends or relatives and with your children that include an emergency, and plan how they are to respond if you say the code word or over the phone. I'm sorry, in person or over the phone. Open a secret bank account that you will have access to for funds should you need to flee. Keep a working phone in the room with you. Carry a cell phone. Obtain a firearm permit. Stay away from drugs or alcohol yourself so you can keep your mind about you. Call the abused women's hotline if you are afraid, and call the police if danger is immediate. These are just some steps that women need to have, some things that you always need to be thinking of and game planning for, because you never know. And I just wanted to bring this out and highlight it because there have been way too many cases of unaliving and self-deletion here lately, and we need to have these conversations. Jump in the comments, tell me what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.